Why does so little Sky Striker players play Hamp? The reason why so little players play Hamp is because Hamp, yes, it has a Kaiju effect. Kaiju says, if you control a Sky Striker Ace monster, you can special summon this card from your hand to either field by attributing one monster from that field. So basically, I contribute the Arrival at Ignister, right? Or I contribute a Avermax that was buffed by IP Masquerena, right? These are common problems that Sky Strikers run into, right? So Hamp is something that solves that. But the most important thing about this effect is you have to fulfill this condition of controlling a Sky Striker Ace monster. That means you have to either normal summon Ray, normal summon Rose, engage for Hornet Drones, or open the Hornet Drones. It's one Hornet Drones in your deck. You have to have some way to have a Sky Striker on board. But Sky Strikers are at their weakest. They're at their weakest when they don't have 3 spells in their graveyard, and they basically have a problem to solve on the board, right? Usually, the problems that Hamp solves towers, right? They break towers, they break the Arrival, they break Avermax. He asks you to commit a normal summon. He asks you to commit a special summon, which if you use Hornet Drones, you're pretty much fucked if the opponent knows what you're doing, because if you have Hornet Drones, they can activate whatever they want because they know that your Widow Anchors are turned off. Hamp asks a lot up front as far as commitment. So the reason why I don't play Hamp is because I could play one card in my extra deck, never see it in my opening hand, and it'll solve the same problem. Granted, this card's not the perfect solution, but he is there just in case, and it is able to come out versus the decks I need it to come out versus, right? And what I would rather play instead of Hamp is I would rather play 3 Gameciel, because 3 Gameciel in general doesn't ask you to commit anything. Gameciel is free. He just slams on the board, says I'm here, and Gameciel asks nothing from you. It asks nothing from you. It asks for an extra like 2 spaces in your deck. You want to play 3 Gameciel, sure, maybe, right? 3 spaces in your deck that solves a lot of problems is much better than this 1 space that you're going to waste a search for, where you would rather like steal something, you would rather pop 2 things, right? With that search. This thing doesn't really give you much payoff. The thing about searching for Hamp, with Engage is that it doesn't give you that much of a payoff. All Sky Striker spells give you something else in return for using them. So like Afterburners pops 1 thing, but if you have 3 spells, you pop 2. Widow Anchor allows you to fully just take an opponent's monster, which is huge, right? Change of Heart, quick play Change of Heart is really huge. Jamming Waves gives you another 2-for-1 exchange, right? Hamp is a straight up just -1. He's on the board. He's on your opponent's side of the board. You've given them a monster, right? It's a sacrifice that you're making in order to solve something that is really hard to solve, which are towers, right? But it's not as big of a payoff as most of the other search targets you have with Sky Striker spells. So that's why no one really plays Hamp, is because he is way more costly than any of the other stuff you can search. He asks for too much upfront commitment, right? And you could easily replace him with options in your extra deck instead. So that's why I don't play Hamp.